Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I sometimes like to throw in episodes that are a little bit more thought-provoking, and while this is a martial arts channel and many people will associate it with just throwing punches and kicks, there's a lot more to martial arts than that. So today what I'm wanting to do is to verbalize some of the introspective thoughts that have been happening in my head a lot over the last year, I want to say. And we're going to be talking about a quote from David Beckham that I saw years ago. I'm pretty sure it was David Beckham. And we're going to be talking about the big life change which happened to me in the last 6 months, which if you haven't already seen it, the link is up there. But my wife Rachel and I split up and went our separate ways, and a big part of that is what I heard David Beckham say a number of years ago. That was a big part for me, at least. So what did David say? What is the hardest decision you're ever going to make? Many of you guys might be thinking, well, this is a sports-related channel, and we're talking about fighting, so in some aspect it's got to be about competition, but it's actually not about competition. Competition, yes, is very difficult. If you want to reach the pinnacle, there are many decisions which you have to make day in and day out about how hard you're going to train, which path you're going to choose, which will lead you to the top, but we're not talking about that. David Beckham said, the hardest decision you will ever make is finding the person you want to have children with. And this for me has been a massive sticking point in my mind over the last number of years. And of course, it goes without saying that obviously somebody like Rachel, who I married, is going to be a great mother. But what you have to look at sometimes is, are they going to be the right person for you to raise children with? And as I'm in competition, as I'm training and I'm stressed in those aspects, I often found myself still falling back to, I want to have kids, but I kept delaying, kept postponing having children. We were supposed to start about even more like 3 or 4 years ago, and I kept saying, let's wait. And then I just realized at some point that this is such a hard decision. How do you find somebody who you go, this is who I want to raise my children with, and if it just doesn't feel perfect, should you still move forward? Tough stuff to talk about. Hard to think about as well, very nice to verbalize. And like I said, this has really nothing to do with martial arts, but sometimes on the channel I like to do episodes on what makes a good person or some other interesting element that I think martial artists should talk about. If you have a martial arts instructor and they're just teaching you striking, you're missing out on a massive part of martial arts. In my opinion, it's not as simple as just activity. There are values, there are lessons which should be taught as well. And like I said, this is something which has been on my mind a lot lately, trying to dial in on, I have to find somebody who obviously you love a whole lot. That should be priority number one. But then once you love them, are you going to be comfortable having children with them and raising kids with them? Because once you go to that point where you have children, then to me, there's no turning back. That person is interwound into your life forever. And I've had a lot of people message me, say things like, oh, Gabriel, what's going to happen to the kids? What kids? I think a lot of people were under the impression that Rachel and I had children. We did not have children. I'm 38 now and probably getting to the point where in the next couple years, I'll be like, yeah, I want to have kids. I think an interesting question, which many of you have had over the years, which I think I have an answer for now, is Gabriel, when are you going to retire? I think retirement will come, perhaps earlier, but if not, definitely when I have kids. I do not think I want to compete and raise children at the same time. Many people can do it. Loads of UFC fighters at the very top have children. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's something which I have not wanted to do. I have to be a little bit selfish, I feel, when training camp comes. I have to prioritize myself. I have to make sure that in those moments where stress arises, I can go and take a breath. If I have to go and travel for a training camp and go somewhere, do 2-hour drives to get to a gym where I can spar with people, I need to be able to do that. And a lot of fighting And being successful in fighting comes from confidence. If you're not confident in your training, you're not going to be confident when you get in the ring. So when I get to that point where it's time for children, I will start prioritizing the YouTube channel, even more so than I'm already doing, really push the online learning and probably step away from fighting. Is that going to come in the next 6 months? No. No, I've got some time left. I still have to get that karate combat belt and maybe do a couple other steps in the career. We will see. But I just wanted to touch base with you guys on this subject. Again, not really fight related, but something which I think is very important, which many people out there hopefully will take to heart and really sit down and think, is this the person I want to raise kids with? That's such a hard question to ask, especially when you love somebody. And you're having to go, I love them, but is this right for the rest of my life? Hard stuff to even talk about and open up and share right now, but it's something that I want to do because, like I said, martial arts instructors are not just teaching kicks and punches, they're also teaching life lessons. And that's just what a good parent should do as well. I'm fortunate to have 2 great parents who took the time to really teach me as best they could about all the struggles, and sticking points, and everything in life and how to overcome it. So if I can give you guys a little bit of wisdom or knowledge or a path forward which might help you down the road, I am very happy to do that. Let's call it there. Thanks for joining today, guys. I'll see you back here soon for another video.